I was like, where are you? When can I see you? I need to see you. I miss you. He might be the type of person that never like really settles with somebody. Maybe he's like a, he's like a bee going from flower to flower to flower. I don't know. He's very disrespectful to me, very kind of messed up to me. But in my mind, we could get married. We had the most beautiful babies. He handsome, I'm pretty. Like, it would be so cool. He's smart and intellectual. I'm kind of smart, I think. Like, it would be fun. We have the best conversations. Like, we have fun, but then he would treat me like crap.
Okay, y'all. So Common just pulled out a ring and proposed to Jennifer Hudson. And guess who is not taking it well? Miss Tiffany Haddish. Yeah, it's looking real uncomfortable on her end. Now I know some of y'all are like, wait, didn't Tiffany and Common break up a while ago? And yeah, they did, back in 2021. But the way this whole thing is taking pace, it's giving some unfinished business type vibes. Because the stuff Tiffany's been saying, she's not over it, not by a long shot. And don't worry, I'm not just talking off vibes. We've got actual comments, old interviews, and little moments that tell us exactly how she feels. And when we lay it all out next to Common suddenly going all in on Jennifer like that, yeah, it starts making a lot more sense why Tiffany's been acting real pressed.
How does your business about your relationship get out if only 2 people know that it's over?
No. More than 2 people in my camp knew that it was over.
Okay.
And I'm sure a bunch of people in his camp knew, because I sure was calling them like, can y'all get my stuff out of his house? Can you send it to my house? Please, thank you, appreciate it.
Tiffany Haddish and Common started dating around mid-2020, and they weren't hiding it either. These two were out here, posting each other, laughing in interviews, talking about how happy they were. At the time, Tiffany even said that it was the best relationship she'd ever had. She called it fun, healthy, and said she felt safe with him. That doesn't sound like someone who was halfway in. So when they broke up in 2021, a lot of folks were confused, and Common came out trying to keep it clean. He said the breakup was mutual, that they were both just too busy to make it work. Claimed there was still love, but the timing was off. You know, the usual Hollywood breakup statement, nice, neat, and strange.
It was a mutual thing of essentially that we came to understanding that, like, this is what's gonna be best, like, for us to still continue to love each other.
But here's the thing. Tiffany was not co-signing that explanation. In fact, she called it a lie.
How do you feel about it being over?
I'm fine with it. It's gonna be new opportunities. I miss him. I miss him from time to time, but that's what I think with any relationship, an intimate relationship that you might have, you miss them, but I'm fine with it. It's cool.
In an interview with the Washington Post, she made it very clear that it wasn't mutual at all. It wasn't mutual. It was more him saying, I think this relationship has run its course. And I was like, okay, like you're gonna be a 50-year-old single man, okay? That doesn't sound like 2 people calmly parting ways. That sounds like she got hit with a breakup she wasn't ready for. And the shade didn't stop there. She also said, and I quote, he might be the type of person that never really settles with somebody. Maybe he's like, like a bee going from flower to flower to flower. Now, let's be real. When someone calls you a bee out here pollinating all over the place, yeah, they're not over it. They're hurt. That's not someone who's healed and moved on. That's someone who feels played. And if you're thinking, well, maybe she's just bitter, I mean, wouldn't you be? Think about it. She's taking it as a serious relationship, feeling secure, happy, like this could be something real. Then, out of nowhere, he hits her with, this has run its course. And a short while later, he's getting close to someone new. That's not easy to swallow, especially if you were blindsided. Especially if you felt like you were supposed to be the one he finally settled down with. So yeah, the breakup might have looked smooth from Common's side, but Tiffany's version is way more different. Now fast forward a bit, and Jennifer Hudson enters the chat.
How did it feel to have your man sitting on the couch?
You know what? It feels good. It feels like home. Like I said, he brings me joy, and that's what our season about, is choosing joy.
Yes.
And he is like such a light, and he's from Chicago.
So here's where things start to shift. Common and Jennifer met while working on the movie Breathe. And according to insiders who were on set, they were around each other all the time. Once filming was completed, they kept finding ways to spend time together. It wasn't just a working relationship, something was clearly going on. But Jennifer, being Jennifer, tried to play it safe. She's private. So when folks asked, she hit them with the, "We're just friends, we were acting, y'all are getting too much into it" kind of statements. You know how celebs love to downplay things until they're ready. But it didn't take long before they started popping up together, holding hands, going on dinner dates. They were even spotted looking cozy in New York. And then, Common flew all the way to London just to support Jennifer at the premiere of her musical, A Strange Loop. Let's pause right there. Ain't nobody hopping on a transatlantic flight unless it's serious. That's not just friend behavior, that's, I'm trying to show up for my woman energy. Then came the moment that really confirmed everything, when Common appeared on the Jennifer Hudson Show. Now keep in mind, this was after months of people wondering. So when she asked him, "Are you dating anyone?" and he said, "Yes, I'm dating one of the most beautiful people I've ever met," the audience already knew about them.
Are you dating anyone?
Yes, and I'm in a relationship that is one of the most beautiful people I ever met in life.
And he wasn't subtle with the clues either. He said she was smart, loved God, had her own talk show, and an EGOT. Ain't too many people out here with an EGOT and a talk show. He may as well have said her full name. That was his soft launch going full hard, and we all caught it. And if you're sitting there thinking, okay, but that could still be for the cameras, right? That moment on the show wasn't even the start. These two have been spotted together outside of TV appearances, multiple times, in public, on dates, at events. This isn't a PR stunt. It's been building quietly for over a year. Jennifer even talked about how she's listening to God more when it comes to love, and said if she ever did get married again, it would be someone with purpose. And y'all, she basically said that Common is that person. So yeah, while Tiffany's throwing little jabs, Jennifer and Common are out here locking in. But here's why this matters. Jennifer ain't had the easiest love life, and fans are really rooting for her this time around.
Is she here at a size 6 than she was at 16? Or is it the same?
You know what, honestly, it's pretty much the same. Like, it hasn't really changed that much.
Really?
To be quite honest, yeah. She's a little more confident now, and
Yeah.
that kind of sticks out, but to me, I liked her then too.
So, before Common ever entered the picture, Jennifer Hudson was in a long-term relationship with former pro wrestler David Otunga. They were engaged for 10 years, a whole decade, but they never actually made it to the altar. Now, during that time, Jennifer faced one of the worst tragedies anyone could go through. In 2008, her mother, brother, and 7-year-old nephew were murdered in a horrific incident. It was heartbreaking, and the entire community was watching as she was grieving in the public eye. David was by her side through it all. People saw him as that steady support system. But over time, that relationship started crumbling. By 2017, things got really bad. Jennifer filed for a protective order against David. She accused him of being aggressive, jealous, and even emotionally abusive. One claim that really shocked people was that he would use their son to spy on her while she was at the studio, asking him questions about who she was with, what she was doing, and so on. On the flip side, David wasn't staying quiet either. He accused Jennifer of cheating, manipulating the media, and using the abuse claims as a way to get custody of their son. It turned into a full-on legal battle. It was messy, toxic, and clearly painful for both of them. So when Jennifer finally got out of that storm, people just wanted her to heal. And when the rumors started flying that she and Common were a thing, folks had different feelings. Some were excited, others were nervous. Because let's be real, Common has a reputation when it comes to dating high-profile women. Erykah Badu, Serena Williams, Angela Rye, and of course, Tiffany Haddish. He's charming, but he's never really settled down. So naturally, people were like, "Jennifer girl, you sure about this?" But here's the twist. Common's been moving very differently with Jennifer. He's not hiding her. He's not dodging questions or brushing off the relationship like he's done in the past. He's out here praising her on national TV. He's flying across the world to show up for her events. He's calling her beautiful, talented, saying how lucky he is, and even hinting at marriage.
I was asked about marriage.
Yes.
And I just answered honestly. I said, you know what? You told me a quote that your mother said, a man knows what he wants. And I was saying my true feelings about, listen, Jennifer is the person, if I should be married, it will be to Jennifer Kate Hudson.
On the Jennifer Hudson Show, when she teased the idea of getting married again, he didn't flinch. He actually smiled and said, "You never know what the future holds." That's a big shift from the man who told Tiffany he wasn't ready for all that. So while some folks had doubts, it's looking like Common might finally be showing up like a grown man ready to do right by somebody. And fans are hoping Jennifer's the one he gets it right with, because after everything she's been through, she deserves that love. Now this is where it gets messy again, because Tiffany, she's been out here making comments that low-key sound real bitter. Not too long ago, she made a little jab about Common and earrings. She said something like, "He ain't buy me no damn earrings. He probably gave them to Jennifer." Girl, why are we talking about earrings in 2025? Like nobody was even asking about him at that moment. She brought it up all on her own. That kind of comment just screamed unresolved feelings. And that wasn't the first time either. She's been bringing up the breakup in random interviews years after it ended. Even in that Washington Post interview, when she called him a bee jumping from flower to flower, she was still clearly upset. Now, to be fair, breakups are different for everybody. And it's easy to say, move on when you're not the one who had your heart broken. But this has been over 3 years now. And when your ex is out here proposing to someone else, and you're still cracking jokes about earrings and throwing shade, it's not a great look. And again, if you've ever been through a breakup where you thought you were the one, and then they turn around and treat the next person better, yeah, that'll do something to your ego. But even still, healing out loud is one thing, shading the new couple years later is something else. Especially when the man already said it's done, and he's clearly moved on.
She's talented, but I set my standard kind of high because she had to have an EGOT. She had to win an Oscar on her first movie. I set my standard high. She had to get her own talk show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so.
Now listen, I love Common, I really do. He's talented, he's smooth, he's got that calm energy, but let's not act like this man doesn't have a strange history when it comes to commitment issues. We gotta talk about it. Let's just take a quick walk down memory lane. Common has dated some very high-profile women over the years. We're talking Erykah Badu, Serena Williams, Taraji P. Henson, Angela Rye, and of course, Tiffany Haddish. That's not just a dating history, that's a lineup. Now here's the thing. In almost every one of those situations, it was him who pulled the plug. Take Erykah Badu, for example. They were together back in the early 2000s, and he was head over heels, so much so that he literally said he was lost in love. But eventually, the relationship ended, and Common later admitted that the breakup left him depressed and confused. He didn't really give a strong reason. Then we got Serena Williams. Now that one was pretty quiet, but they were definitely a thing for a while. No messy headlines or drama, but again, it didn't last. And Common moved on. Next was Taraji P. Henson. They were an item around 2005 to 2007, but again, Common was the one who said it just wasn't working. And Taraji confirmed it too. She said he's a good guy, but it just didn't go the distance. Angela Rye? Now that relationship came with some public commentary. They were off and on, but Angela was very clear. She wanted marriage and a family. She said they had a real conversation about it, and when she realized they weren't aligned long-term, she walked away. Respect to her for that, but again, same pattern. Common not committing all the way. And then we got Tiffany Haddish. They started dating during the pandemic, and she was clearly into him. They were doing interviews, TikToks, date nights. But when they broke up in 2021, Common told the press it was mutual and blamed their busy schedules. But Tiffany was not having it. She said that was a lie. According to her, he blindsided her, and it definitely wasn't mutual. She felt like he just didn't want to settle down. And let's be honest, when every relationship ends with you saying, "It just didn't work out," and every woman walks away thinking they were the one, It starts to look like maybe you are the common denominator. But this situation with Jennifer Hudson feels different. And I know you're probably thinking, girl, ain't that what we always say when a man gets a new woman? But hear me out. Common has never talked about any of his past girlfriends the way he talks about Jennifer. When he was on her show, he was literally glowing. Like, he looked like a high school boy with a crush. He said, "I'm dating one of the most beautiful people ever. She got an EGOT. She got her own talk show." That's not cryptic. That's real admiration. And actions speak louder than words, too. He's been flying across the world to support her, showing up at her shows, red carpets, premieres. He's putting in effort. That's not the same Common who kept things low-key in past relationships. Plus, let's not forget, he's 52 now. Maybe he's finally at that point where he's done playing the field. Maybe Jennifer really is the one who made him want to change. Even Tiffany said she didn't think he was the type to settle down. But maybe he just wasn't ready before. And now, he might actually be there. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So yeah, some people are still side-eyeing him, and that's fair. His track record ain't exactly screaming husband material, but if he really is showing up for Jennifer the way it looks, then maybe, just maybe, this is different.
Were you angry when you saw his answer?
I was disappointed. I was very disappointed. I was like, oh, okay, because that's not what you told me, but okay.
Wait, well, what did he tell you?
And you know what? That's between us.
So now Jennifer got the man in the ring. Tiffany's still talking. And we're just sitting here sipping tea, trying to figure out who's really winning in all of this. But what do you guys think? Do y'all feel like Tiffany has a right to still feel some type of way? I mean, she did get hurt. Or is she just being petty at this point, still bringing up old stuff while her ex is out here moving on? And let's talk about Common. Do y'all really believe he's ready to settle down now? Or is this just another pit stop before he bounces again? Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.